This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba for another technical diving tips, techniques, and trips video. Hello divers, thanks for joining me today. The subject of today's video is what you need to do to reconfigure a set of regulators to go from a manifolded twin set to a set of independent doubles. And what I have here for the independent doubles is I'm using the double tank adapter, which there's a video on the website about, but I could have just as easily have done a plate that has the extra slots to put the bands directly into. It doesn't really matter which way we're doing it. We're doing it this way today. All right, so what we're going to do is talk about what you need to do. So when we go diving, particularly like in Bonaire, we try to maximize our diving and we try to, if possible, minimize our expense. So it's not unusual for us to get a manifolded twin set full of some high percentage helium and do a deep, long technical dive in the morning, and then after a suitable surface interval, go and get a set of independent doubles and either do a shorter, shallower technical dive or multiple recreational dives. So the idea behind this is when you have the manifolded twin set full of helium, it's expensive, and if you want to do additional diving, it makes no sense to use all that expensive helium on a shallower technical dive or on a recreational dive. The other thing is when you do this, typically we rent tanks from Dive Friends Bonaire, and you have pretty much unlimited regular tanks with that you can use for doing the independent doubles. All right, so let's start out with the right post over here. So I'm going to take off my right post regulator and disconnect a few things. Okay, this is a little stiff. I probably need to lubricate that. And I'm going to take this off, and this will go directly on top of the tank, because in the independent back mount doubles configuration that I use, I take the regular tank on the left post on the left side, and I reverse the tank so that the valve handles are on the outside. I have seen some people where it's on the inside, but I find that more difficult to reach, and it's not replicate the manifolded twin set the same. Okay, so this is pretty much an exact switch for the right post, and we'll talk about a little bit of a change. Screw this down a little bit. I'm not going to bother putting the BCD on, but I would do that as part of it. And I'm going to take my left post regulator off, and I'm going to have to disconnect this one as well because I'm using a redundant bladder. Okay, so I'm going to disconnect the hose, pressure hose here as well. And I'm going to take this huge wad here. Okay, now I'm using my regular first stages that I dive, technical dives and also recreational dives when I'm doing independent doubles, is a Mare 72X. So these are not readily available in the United States, so a lot of people use, for example, atomic first stages or other regulators, and you can do the same thing that I'm doing here today if you have a regulator that has a port coming out the bottom, like the atomics do. All right, so obviously the thing that we have to do here is we have to turn this thing upside down, okay, and mount it that way in order to run this. And because these hoses are on the bottom, they route like they would without any difficulty. So what we're going to do here is we're going to do something with this because this is going to be very cumbersome. It's going to be a problem, and so we're going to take this off. We're going to take our high pressure gauge, analog gauge off, and I normally dive manifolded twin sets with an analog gauge on the left post, and I dive with a transmitter on the right post. Okay, so I would plug this hole because it's sticking up, and I don't want to have that out there. So I'm going to plug that up, and I'm going to do that by taking out this high pressure port here, this plug here, and I'm going to simply take it and put it on this side here. Okay, so now the only issue that I have here is that I can't read my pressure. Okay, so what I'll typically do, particularly if I'm not going to be doing any very deep diving, is I'll use a transmitter. Of course, now the question as to whether or not using a transmitter is a personal one. Some people don't like using them for technical diving, other people do, so that's a personal choice. And all I have to do is screw this in, and of course I would put a wrench on it, make it tight. And I can take this and I can put it down underneath and affix it this way. Okay, so I'm going to stick this on here, probably just engage it a little bit. I have my my necklace regulator leading over this direction, and I have my redundant bladder hose is right here. I don't need this necessarily because I'm now using the transmitter, which is down here, and I'm ready to go. Okay, and again, the right post is the same as everything. Okay, so all you got to do, if you've got an extra transmitter and you dive with this configuration with the transmitter normally on the right post, all you got to do is take out one high pressure port on this side, take off the hose, and stick a transmitter in the left hand post. Now, in my first iteration of this years ago, what I actually did was I actually used a high pressure hose, and it had to go from the back of the tank, okay, up to your BCD, your D-ring on your BCD. But a lot of people objected to that because it kind of like stuck out. Okay, so I'm not going to go back to that one, but so nowadays I use the transmitter. Now, if you really don't have another transmitter and you want to still be able to see what your tank does, what you would do in that case is you would take this transmitter off, the one that's normally on the right post, and you put it on the left post. Then what you would do, once you stick this over here, just put it over there for now, then what you do is you take your analog gauge and then you screw your analog gauge into the post that you just took the transmitter out of. Okay, so if you don't have an extra transmitter and you do have a transmitter and an analog gauge, and then this thing would just get clipped to my D-ring on my right hip, that's what you would do. Okay, so in that case you would just switch the position of the low pressure or the high pressure gauge hose from the left post regulator to the right post regulator, and then you would take your transmitter that was normally here and then you would put that on the left post. Okay, so now again I have a complete setup here. I have my analog gauge on this tank and I have my transmitter on this tank. Okay, so that's all you have to do with it in order to switch it back and forth. Now, if you only have a pressure gauge, okay, what are you going to do? The easiest thing to do is just go out and get a transmitter. Hopefully you have your computer with a that has inner integration, but if you don't have that, you're still going to need, because you have two independent systems here, you're still going to need some way to read your pressure. Okay, so if you don't want to get a transmitter, or you don't have a transmitter, then the only thing that you can really do is get another analog pressure gauge and another analog hose, and then you would have to go back to having it be a little bit cumbersome leading it out to the back. Okay, so the process of moving from the manifolded twin set to the independent doubles is very easy, and I can go ahead and just go back and take my in the next morning I could go back and take my stuff off of the independent doubles and then put it onto the manifolded twin set to continue my deep diving with the trimix filled manifolded twin set. And then what I would do with my independent doubles tanks is I would then take them and get them change them out at one of the tank depots, like Dive Friends Bonaire has many of them around the island, so it's very convenient to do. Okay, so that's one thing we typically do. The third thing that we kind of do sometimes is we'll do a single tank night dive. You could dive with a set of independent doubles, but usually we don't go very deep for night dives, and the night dives aren't very long. So all you got to do is then unscrew these, lift the plate off, and you can put a single tank adapter back on your plate and wing, and you can do a single tank dive. So That will avoid having to undo the threads. If you have a double tank adapter, you would have to undo, not have to worry about threading the tank bands back and forth through the plate. But we did have a guy on one trip where he did use that method. He had the plate, and I think he missed a couple of dives because he got a little bit annoyed about the extra time it took to take the tank bands in and out of the plate. And so if you have one of these, a double tank adapter, the switch either to back and forth between the manifolded double twin set or single tank adapter. This is Chris with Dive Zone Scuba. Thanks for watching, and please subscribe.